Page 506. Visual perception is only one of a kind of sense door process. Every time a sound, smell, taste, or touch brushes against its respective sense odor, ear, nose, tongue, or body, it sends off a protocol like the one described above for visual perception. The only difference is that in the place of the eye consciousness, we would have a moment of hearing consciousness, smelling consciousness, tasting consciousness, or body consciousness, as the case might be. Page 507. But the mind itself is the sixth perceptual door. Some objects enter the mind door directly without passing through the eye, ear, nose, or body first. When a conceptual object enters the mind door in an independent process, we have a different situation than when it enters a subsequent to a sense door process.
Thank you. The problem with the mind as a receiver of an object without the need for any of the other, sense doors is that it's a little harder to assume what will be coming into the mind at a certain moment. So you can easily assume what a person will see at a certain moment based on the surroundings into which the person has entered, or what they will hear or smell or taste or touch. With the mind is a little more complicated because we may think of things that happened in the past. We may just get an idea, but when we take it according to Theravada Buddhism, and this may sound a little fantastic, but that's the way how we believe it. You may also get a certain like knowledge or a certain, how to say that, certain objects from the deities or even through your psychic powers. So either unintentionally or intentionally. And of course, you can be also ill. So it's possible that you are ill, that you have, let's say, some mental disorder or something's not okay, or you did not sleep or something, and you hear voices that nobody's saying. So that's entirely mind-based. And if it is entirely mind-based and it is not ear-based or eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, then again, these are objects, that are coming directly to the mind without the necessity for objects of the other senses. So that's the big question. Why do we start to think about certain things? Why do we start to remember certain things? Why do we happen to know certain things at a certain time and not at a different time? In Buddhism, we do not really try to explain why certain objects come to the mind at a certain time, but we try to explain how to get the power over the peace in the mind, so that if you don't want any object to come into the mind, you can do that. Because the problem with all of the objects, be they directly mind-based or indirectly mind-based, that means they are based on the eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and thereby on the mind. The problem with them is that they're impermanent. So they arise and they pass. And if there is attachment on them, then there is suffering. Because as you attach to an object, when it's gone, you are shocked, you are disappointed, you may be sad or angry or worried and so on, because you had that object and now it's gone. So this is something that needs to be developed in meditation. As you meditate, you gradually learn that objects can come more or less independently into any of the 6 doors, but in the end, always they end up in the mind. Okay, whatever you see, whatever you hear, and so on, will need the mind into the process. Because in order that you can see something, there will need to be the mind to understand what you actually see. The seeing itself, the eye and the object do not really result in seeing. For the seeing, there needs to be consciousness. So you have three things: eye, object, and consciousness. Only when they come together, there can arise seeing. If you do not have consciousness and you have only eye and object, just like if you have a dead person, so a person dies and their eyes are still healthy. Does that mean that they can see because there's a healthy eye, there's a good object? No, they cannot see because the consciousness is gone. So you need all of the three. But interestingly, for consciousness alone, for the mind alone, you do not need the other five in many cases.